Hello, I am so sorry that it took me so many days just to get us to where we needed to be with this video. I know I said I was going to try to get it done by the end of the week, and it really is the end of the week. But I was trying to get it out on Saturday, and I'm recording it Sunday. What day is it again? The third. So I hope that everyone is doing well today, and everyone that was not at church today. I hope that you're all doing well, and that you were able to at least be able to watch it online, or maybe at a different church. But now, Mere Christianity has been, in my opinion, just a fantastic study. C.S. Lewis, the way that he makes you question certain things in the way that he makes you think sometimes is just fantastic and really unique. And really all let me remember how many chapters are in the first book here. Yeah, the first five books within the first book, first chapters, I'm sorry, in the first book is very much there's okay is very much more of a one discussion, not breaking it up into pieces. So I hope that as we go from video to video, and as on Wednesday nights, as we study, as we kind of just focus on specific things of what we're going through, no one's getting confused or overwhelmed by any of it. And if you have any questions as you're going along with um, these chapters, I do encourage you to comment, or just if you have the moment to ask in person. So this chapter, the reality of the law. We're still talking about the human nature, the law of human nature, and what does this mean? Um, One of the things that I thought was interesting in this chapter was he mentions it right here on page 16, on the bottom of page 16. If you take a thing like a stone or a tree, it is what it is, and there seems no sense in saying it ought to have been otherwise. Or, of course, you may say a stone is the wrong shape. If you want to use it for a rockery, which I found out actually, a rockery is a kind of a garden type area. It's very unique. I actually didn't even think of putting any pictures up for this chapter. There's just so much here that I didn't think of where to begin and what to focus on, honestly, in this chapter. But that is one of the things that we actually discuss, and I thought that was actually really cool. Or uh, that a tree is a bad tree because it does not give as much shade as you expected. But all you mean is that the stone or tree does not happen to be uh, 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 sorry, I lost my place. Not happen to be where it is for the purpose of your own. I just could not word what I was trying to word there, but you are not, except as a joke, blaming them for that. So when you think of stones, when you think of trees, you know, things are where that they're supposed to be, or whatever. On my campus, we have a, in my opinion, very beautiful um, koi fish pond. And the rocks are in certain places, the trees are uh exactly where they need to be for there to be shade in certain areas or whatever. And that is drastically important for hot days like it has been the last few weeks or so. Thankfully, this last week has been in the 90s, but it's still been hot, especially for those fish. And actually, again, though, something that you may not be aware of is that those same fish during the cold times, during Snowmageddon, and every time we've had a freeze, if you mess with it the wrong way, if you mess with the waters the wrong way, if you throw the rocks in like kids do or whatever, and break the ice, it will kill the fish, which is the reason why certain things are the way that they are within that pond. The rocks are where they need to be. Now, are we putting them there? Were they put there by somebody? Yes, they were. But, excuse me, but you use them for a very specific reason, very similar to that of a rockery. I didn't even actually think about that this last a week, but I should have because we went to camp at my school. So, one of the things to also think about is here it is at the bottom of page 17. The law of gravity tells you what stones do if you drop them, but the law of human nature tells you what human beings ought to do and do not. In other words, when you are dealing with humans, something else comes in above and beyond the actual facts. So people have used this, metaphor or just example of this book. It followed the law of gravity where it just dropped where it needed to drop, and there's that. There was nothing needed to tell it to do so. It just followed the laws of gravity. Now we have a law ourselves. We have things that we should do as humans. We should treat each other well. But what does that mean? We should treat each other like this. But what does that mean? There was actually there it is. But before I get to that, I want to make sure that we yes. Before I get to both of those, I want to finish what I was saying, where it is important for us to act a certain way and to be a certain way to other people. We can't just expect you, like I can't expect you to be a certain way to me and me not to be the same to you. We must be respectful to each other. I find that drastically important in the way that we go about our simple days. Now, this, I want you to pay attention to page 18, middle paragraph, actually, middle of the second paragraph, the first full paragraph in it. A man occupying the corner seat in the train because he got there first, and a man who slipped into it while my back was turned and removed my back are both equally just just I can't think of words today. They're just um, they're just not helpful. I can't think of the word. I'm looking at it and I just can't figure out how to word it. Um, I'll figure it out later. But you don't um but I blame the second man and do not blame the first. I'm not angry except perhaps for a moment before I come to my senses with a man who trips me up by accident. I am angry with a man who tries to trip me up even if he does not succeed. The rest is not actually as important as that. I want you to actually think about this because we're reading this, we're studying this, and when you think of someone, for instance, in a train, in a bus, um, the I don't think a plane really works because you pay for certain seats, but let's be honest, people act a certain way anyways. But why is it when he says for the second man, you blame the second man because he took your bags out and sat there, but the first one you're not as angry with because he was already there because he just got there first. It's just more convenient. Inconvenient. Why could I not think of that word? Yeah, but it's inconvenient for you because you have to stand or you have to sit in a different area. Wow, I am not wording today. But you are angry with him for I'm not angry except perhaps for a moment before I come to my senses. Why is it when we think about coming to our senses, when we think about being angry or whatever, we always react a certain way? We always change how we act. We always, oh, I have the right to be angry because I did not blah blah blah. Um, I'm not calling anyone out here. I've seen people on social media. I've also seen myself get mad over things that I have no control over. It's just inconvenient for me. You know, I have had anger issues in the past, and I try to take care of it. I try to, move on from it, but it is what it is. Um, actually, it's not what it is because I actually have gotten better from that. So, hey, praise God, because realistically, it was him and not me. Now, finally, um, we'll mention a little bit from the last page, but within the 19th page, something very important to me, because we actually discussed a little bit on Wednesday. Human beings, after all, have some sense. They see that you cannot have any real safety or happiness except in a society where everyone plays fair. And it is because they see that that they try to behave decently. Now, of course, it is perfectly true that safety and happiness can only come from an individual's classes, and nations being honest and fair and kind to each other. It is one of the most important truths in the world, but as an explanation of why we feel as we do about right and wrong is just misses the point. If we ask why ought I not I to be unselfish, you apply because it's good for society. We may ask, why should I care what's good for society except when it happens to pay me personally? Now, stopping there. When you think of being fair, when you think of something being fair for everyone, I want you to really think about that. Now, I try to challenge those in the youth on 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 Wednesday, with this, like I wanted them to really think about what this meant, especially with how the world today thinks of this needs to be fair, this needs to be like this, so on and so forth. But what does that mean to be fair? Now, I use the example. I don't think I used it right on Wednesday. I'm probably going to rephrase it this coming Wednesday. But I was talking about, the pay gap. Everyone's saying that there's just a pay gap between men and women, all that stuff. But I've also seen how, on the other hand, that people notice or people point out that there's only this pay gap because of men choosing these jobs and women choosing these jobs, the ones that pay less or whatever. Um, and I will also say, good point to Miss Trish on Wednesday. Teachers do not get paid enough. Let's just none of them do. So we need to treat them fairly, especially when they deal with kids. And I do apologize for dropping that. If you heard that, but I want you to think about what is fair and what is not fair, and that is kind of what I want you to really think about. And why is it that when you think of being fair, you think of being what's right for society, um, in comparison to that of other people? So I want you to take the time, really dig into that, and then we will go into the next chapter. Again, like I said, I will say this in every video. I'm trying my best to stay as much in the book without, getting, in trouble with the Lewis Foundation. But chapter 4 of this coming week, what lies behind the law? I really hope that you can take a moment to read that if you can. If you can't, if you are a little behind, that's okay. I just hope that you will be able to read along or read the chapter either before or after. And if you need to rewatch the video and be like, oh, you missed this, or I have a question about this, or whatever. So, there can only be so much time in a video when I try not to make them too long, especially with the attention span of a teenager. So in mind, but I really hope that this weekend as well that y'all have a fantastic weekend. I know there are a few people in my youth that are celebrating birthdays today, so I hope all those who are celebrating birthdays have a fantastic day. Those that are not feeling well, those who have everything that it can go wrong because sometimes that happens. I just pray that we can continue to move forward. Now, this coming week when I make the video, I will most likely try to pray beforehand because I'll have a little bit more of an idea of um, prayer requests that are set. And so, if there are any prayer requests, like in my other videos, I've said just put them in the comments and I'll pray about them within this coming week. This will be the week where we pray about them. And anything else that needs to be said is that um, for the videos, I challenge everyone to share them. If you have those few moments to watch them, watch them. If you have those moments to really take in and really think about what has to be said and what might be good for a friend of yours. And again, I hope these videos are good, even though they're not the most in depth when it comes to mere Christianity. I can only do so much. So I hope you have a fantastic week, and we will see you on Wednesday.